Hello people on the internet. So today I'm going to be doing a book review of Panic by McLennonLover. And first of all, I'd like to apologize ahead of time for my lack of enthusiasm because I currently feel like dying. I went to the Spider-Man midnight premiere last night and I'm a wimp and I usually take like a nap beforehand, you know, so I can stay up. So I stayed up and now I'm super tired because I had to get up and at 8 a.m. I had a math exam. So basically my mind is on hyperbolas and summations and I'm dead tired. And so first of all, what Panic is about is a town called Carp and basically nothing happens in it and it's in New York. And so they created this game called Panic and everybody has to put in money every single day of the school year to go towards the pot. And this year is the biggest pot that they've ever had. And then it's just kind of about these people and they have to go and they enter Panic and it's basically like a series of challenges that they have to do. And the winner gets to take the pot, but only one person wins. And these are actually some really intense games. Some of them, like, people can die, I mean, sometimes. So that's what it's about, and basically the story focuses on two people, Dodge and Heather, and they're like a group of people, like friends and such, and they're just making their way through Panic and their lives and such. So yeah. Also, another thing I want to talk about is the texture of this book. Okay? This is the randomest thing to talk about, but when I picked this up, like, I ordered this online, so I figured, oh, it's a hardcover, it's gonna be super, like, shiny and stuff. And I got it, and I picked it up, and I'm just like, no. The texture is just so weird. If somebody's read this, can you tell me if you think the texture's odd as well? Because, I mean, it's like grainy, but like soft. I can't even explain it. It's super like weird. And so every time I like pick it up, it just like threw me off. And I like showed a couple people, like I showed like 3 people, and all of them are just like, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. When the more I like picked it up and stuff, the more I liked it, like I got used to it, and now I think it's kind of cool that it's a different texture, but a lot of people are just like, no, I don't like it. And I don't know, it just kind of threw me off. Not that like the texture of the book cover should like affect if you read the book, but it does. I mean, if you pick up a book and it's really super weird texture, and you don't even want to pick it up, like, you're not really going to be able to pick it up and read it. But yeah, if you have not read Panic, I suggest that you do not watch the rest of this because I'm going to be spoiling a few things. Okay, a lot of things. And so, yeah. Bye! Hello. Welcome. Coming up, and it's the whole, like, jumping scene. I, like, totally flash back to Divergent because, like, they jump. I don't know. That's what I did. And so, when I was reading that, I got really kind of confused at first because we're in Heather's point of view. And at first I'm like, so she's swimming, but did she jump already? Did she not jump? And then she climbs up this thing, and then she has to jump. I got really confused as to what was happening, and then we flash back to like the whole mat thing, and I'm like, oh, so she's doing it because she loved this guy. But it didn't seem like a big enough reason to me to join Panic. But, I mean, that's her own issues. I realized later in the book what she went through and why she joined Panic, and I feel like at the end she really went in it for the money, you know, for her sister, and so that she could pay Anne back and just everything like that. This book is in 2 points of views. It is in Dodge and it is in Heather's point of view. Now, me personally, I liked Heather better than I liked Dodge, and I was really happy that Dodge's points of view, there was less of them than there was Heather's, because I enjoyed reading Heather's more, probably because I'm a girl though too. I mean, I don't know, Heather was one of my favorite characters. The one thing I did like about her is that when I read a lot of books, the characters are all really tiny. You know what I mean? Usually the girls are really small girls and they do big things. It's like you underestimate them. That's what a majority of the books are like. I mean, Clary from The Mortal Instruments, Tris from Divergent, they're all really small characters physically, and they do big things, if you understand what I mean. But she's 5'11", and she's really thrown off by it. She's hunching over, she doesn't like it, and I like that about her because, I mean, my sister's 5'11", and I'm always super jealous of her, but I thought it was pretty cool that it was something different, and that she wasn't, like, super duper skinny, and she had a butt, you know what I mean? Like, she was afraid of people looking at her butt and stuff, and so I like that about her character. But, I don't know, I'm kind of sick of reading third-person books and ones that switch points of views, because, I mean, I just finished reading the Heroes of Olympus, all the ones that are out, and so I'm pretty, like, done with third person switching points of view after that. But then I picked this up, and I picked up a few more books, and they're all third person, but whatever, I'll just keep reading them. So Heather's reason, I didn't really agree with it for joining Panic, but I mean, oh well. Dodge, I got really, like, confused by Dodge. I didn't really like Dodge's point of view because, honestly, I didn't really care about Dodge. I mean, there was this whole Dana thing, but I didn't feel anything for Dodge. I didn't feel anything for any of the characters. I felt super, like, the characters were super distant, like, I wasn't actually, like, in the book. But, anyways, I didn't like the whole Dana thing. It didn't hit a nerve with me. But, Dodge's character, I just didn't really like. And then the reasons he went into Panic, I got kind of confused by. Because, I mean, at first it was like, oh, he wants revenge. And then it was like, oh, now he wants money. Now he wants revenge. Now he wants the money. At first I thought he wanted the money. And then it was just, what are you really doing this for? And then it turned out to be revenge. Big time revenge. Like, really, Dodge? You're gonna murder this person? It's a little steep, don't you think? A little harsh. But, I mean, I guess I couldn't really put myself in his shoes because I've never had anything happen like that to somebody that I love, so I wouldn't really be able to understand why he wanted to do that. Now, I actually really enjoyed Nat's character, and the reason I liked her is because, yeah, I didn't like her as a person, but I liked her as a book character because she kept me thinking, she kept me, like, reading it. Like, I was constantly looking at Nat's character, because Nat's character was kind of like Psycho at some points, honestly. It just kind of sucked that she got out of a lot of the challenges. She didn't really have to do much, but, I mean, there was the whole thing with her balance. Everything had to be, like, completely balanced. She always sat in the middle of the car. Every time she kissed Dodge, it would be, like, on this cheek and then on this cheek. She couldn't just kiss him, like, normal. She wouldn't hold hands with people. And then there was that time when they were going into Jack Donahue's house, and I don't remember what happened. Like, Heather, like, grabbed her hand or something, and she flipped out, and she started flipping out, like, I'm not going in there, no. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, you're a psycho. You're crazy. But I really liked reading it because it kept it interesting. And then I got really mad, though. I mean, I was really excited when her and Heather decided to do the 50-50 split. But then she goes and she does it with Dodge, and I'm like, dude, this girl's so using him. But whatever, that just seems like her kind of character. No, Nat, don't do that. And then I'm like, she didn't tell Heather. Nat, you're just a backstabber. I mean, you're going behind both these people's back in order to get the money. And I understand her dream is to go to, like, Hollywood and be an actress, but seriously? And then she's going out with some creepy guy in order to get, like, recognized or whatever. So I felt really bad for her at that point when she was talking about how she wanted to do it and Dodge said something about wood, but you had to spread your legs for him or something like that. And she was just like, and he's like, oh, oops, didn't mean to actually say that. But I felt really bad for Nat at that point, and I just kind of hoped her and Dodge would get back together, so I think Dodge was good for her. Bishop was by far my favorite character in this book. I loved Bishop's character, because he was so, like, sweet. He was down to earth. He was awesome. I loved Bishop. And it wasn't, like, the nice, sweet, like, where it's so sweet that it's, like, sickening to read, you know what I mean? Where it's so, like, fake and just, like, I can't read it. It wasn't like that. It was really good, like, I wanted to be Bishop's friend, because Bishop was a great friend for Heather. And then, I mean, you could totally tell that they liked each other throughout the book, obviously, because, I mean, the whole, like, hitting back and forth, it was cute. I liked that, because I like reading that kind of stuff where it's like they don't know they love each other, but they do love each other kind of thing. They just don't want to admit it. And I really liked that part of the book, with the whole Bishop and Heather thing. So, I really liked Bishop. And, yeah, I really liked Bishop as a character. And I did think it was kind of odd that he didn't, the haunted house, whatever the house was, the haunted house challenge, I thought it was odd that he didn't want to go to that, but, I mean, I didn't really think of anything of it. I really liked Anne's character, because I think she was really good for Heather, and really showed, like, Heather a sensitive side, like, somebody who actually cares for her, because Heather doesn't have that with her mom. And, honestly, I didn't think Heather's life was that bad until I started, like, getting more into it, and then they tell you more about her mom, and then there was that one incident where she walks in because Lily's outside, and I'm just like, wait, why is she outside? She's like, oh, Mom told me to play outside. I'm like, what? And then when we see what they're really doing, I'm like, holy crap. I seriously sit there like, what? I was so mad with the whole, with the Sesame Street plate. I wanted to cry. I was so angry at that point. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me with the drugs on the Sesame Street plate. And then she threw it across the room, and I'm just like, yeah. And then she kicked her out, and I'm like, yeah, Heather can do this. She can make it on her own. And then she tried getting her back, and I'm like, dude, you kicked her out. Leave her alone. But whatever. Basically, I thought this would be a lot different than it was, and the challenges weren't as, like, crazy as I thought they would be. But now that I think back at them, if I were living there and this was, like, a real-life thing, I would be freaked out, too. You're risking your lives. I mean, this guy, Jack Donahue, in the second, what was that, the third or second challenge? I think it was the second challenge, because the water tower one didn't count, and that angered me. But the second challenge was the Jack Donahue one, and he's coming after you with a freaking rifle, or gun, or whatever it was. There's some type of gun. And he's coming after you, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is more intense than I, like, anticipated it to be. I liked the challenges. I liked that challenge. My favorite challenge by far, it was my favorite part of the book, was the haunted house part. I really liked that part with the fire and everything. And when I found out that Bishop set it on fire, I was like, holy crap. I felt really bad for Heather because she couldn't make it through the window. She's just like, no, don't even try. I'm not going to make it. And Dodge is just like, okay, thank you for realizing that. And I felt kind of bad, but oh well. And then it's just weird because I didn't expect Panic to be something, I pictured it more Hunger Games-like, where it's something set up that the people have to, like, they have a choice to go into, though. So it's not really Hunger Games, but they have a choice to go into it. But it's not. It's really something that they made up and they do, even though these things are illegal and you could go to jail for them. And these people are just, like, doing this, and the cops are trying to shut it down. So I was really surprised at that. I didn't understand why the cops were shutting it down, if it was, like, a thing that people do. But then I realized it's not, like, a set-up thing. It's like, oh, people will pay $1, and then, like, the panic police at the school will, like, come beat you up. It's not something legitimate, like, oh, the school is going to, like, kick you out if you don't pay. It's kind of like a game that's undercover, like, hidden, background game. I don't know if that makes sense. But that's what it is, and I got really surprised by that. The single challenges, I was really mad that Dodge didn't have to do his, but I mean, I guess it's understandable. And then I was really excited, though, when he came and he saved Heather like that. Obviously, Bishop told him to do it, but I was really excited by that, and I'm like, okay, so did he, like, move it so that it wouldn't shoot? And I realized he took it out, and I'm like, yay, Dodge, point Dodge. I like you a little bit more now. Oh, no. The one before that was the highway challenge. And I'm like, okay, so they have to run across this highway. They're like, it's a 6-lane highway. That'll be fun. And then he holds up the blindfolds, and I'm like, oh, someone's gonna die. That's all I thought. I'm like, someone has to die. There's gonna be like 3 people who are gonna die, because who's gonna do that? I mean, I guess it would work if you're hearing, like, listening to it, but I just didn't think like that. I'm like, nobody's gonna be able to do that. And then Nat got out that time, and I was like, okay, well, she's finally out of the game. I mean, somebody's probably going to split the money with her. Oh, well. I mean, I don't really care. And then she gets a second chance because somebody didn't pass their challenge. And so she got to go back in, and I'm like, of course she'd get to go back in. Of course. She gets a second chance. She doesn't have to do anything, and then she gets a second chance at Panic. And then she didn't make her tiger challenge. The tiger thing, I'm like, I didn't know that Nat was that afraid of animals. But I guess she was. And I was kind of happy when she didn't make it. I figured she would make it, so I'm excited that she didn't, because I didn't really want her to be in the Panic, the joust, even though I had no idea what it was at the time. The next thing I want to talk about is the plot twist, which is Bishop. And, I mean, Dodge sort of hinted at Bishop being a judge throughout, and then the minute he said it, I'm like, that makes perfect sense. Bishop's gotta be the judge. And then she mentions Vivian being there a few times, Heather does, and I never thought she would be a judge. So I was just like, oh, whoa there. And I thought it was funny because she thought that they were dating. I mean, obviously I would think that too. And may I just point out that Bishop is extremely bad with wording things, because when Heather kisses him, he obviously has feelings for her, but then he's like, I don't want to lie to you. What is the first thing that I would think? Oh my gosh, I screwed up. And I would do exactly what Heather did. I would like, oh, crap, get out of the situation as fast as I can. Bishop, you gotta say it like that. You can't, like, word it any differently. You gotta word it like you're in love with somebody else, not like you're trying to protect her. Not like you're trying to protect her. You gotta word it like you're in love with someone else and don't care about her. So I was really mad at that. But anyway, just Bishop being a judge, I was all happy. The minute he told her that he was, I was so happy. because I'm like, yay, he did it for her. I knew it. I knew that was his reason. He wouldn't have done it any other reason. Out of all the things for him to do, this was the one thing that was kind of like selfish, you would think, is to be the judge and get the money, but he was doing it for Heather. And I was just like, yay, Bishop. And still boo Bishop, because, I mean, you're still a judge. But I was really happy that he turned himself in as well. I mean, I was kind of mad because then he wasn't really part of it anymore, but I was still happy because he did it out of, like, he had morals. He didn't want to do it anymore. And he felt so guilty about little Bill Kelly, because that was his name, Bill Kelly, when he died. Bishop was so, like, upset and stuff. I'm like, something's got to be going on there, but whatever. I was really excited about Bishop being a judge, and I was really mad when Heather got kind of mad about it, but then she got over it fine. And then I got really mad, though, because she kept saying, like, no, I'll talk to you later, I'll talk to you later, and he's just like, no, just let me tell you, and he looked horrible. You could tell it was just, like, deteriorating him. He felt horrible about it, and she's just like, no, I'll talk to you later, I'll talk to you later. Really, Heather? Really? You can't just listen to what he has to say? Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the ending, which was the joust. Okay, not the very ending, but I want to talk about the ending challenge, the joust. I thought that there's this huge scene with the joust, because I didn't know what the joust was. When they told us what it was, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And Dodge gets Bishop's car, and he, like, rigs it so that Ray will explode and die, or get severely injured, I don't know. And so I'm super excited for the scene to happen, you know what I mean? I'm like, sweet, someone's gonna, like, explode, this is gonna be awesome. And then they kidnap him, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool, too. You know what I mean? And then they kidnap him, and he can't get out. I thought he was gonna escape somehow, but he didn't, and then basically his plan for revenge is over. It's like, oh, you suck, Dodge, sorry. Can't get your revenge. Heather's like, oh, I can't use Anne's car in the joust. I can't actually use it. And Nat's just like, oh, I have the keys. And I'm like, no, don't give her those keys. Don't do it. And then she gave it to her. And I was like, crap, this is gonna be bad. And I had all this anticipation of something really huge happening. Really huge. And it didn't. I mean, yeah, she kind of, like, everything started smoking and the car caught on fire and she jumped out of the car. But it was all super fast, super hazy. Like, nothing was really, like, boom, 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 intense like you thought it would be. So the ending really disappointed me because I thought there was going to be this huge thing. Then she just walks over and there's the tiger. And she puts her hand on the tiger. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And she won. I'm like, that's nice. Where's the big, huge thing that I was expecting? Why am I not feeling anything about this? I liked the book. It's definitely not one of my favorites, but, I mean, I would recommend it to people. Some of the challenges I thought were going to be a lot scarier. As I'm reading the book, I was like, this isn't that scary. This is whatever. It was. It's just my thoughts. I didn't think it was. That is basically my thoughts on Panic. So, I would give this book a 3.5 out of 5. Because it was still well written, it was a good book, it just wasn't my taste. And I enjoyed it. So I'd like it if you would read it. Yeah. I just want to know what you think. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bagel. Now I am going to eat my breakfast. But seriously, you should read the book.